Meter o som do jogo, ok. Eu não sei se vocês estão a ouvir muito baixo, estão a ouvir muito alto, não sei, não faço ideia, depois avisem. A partir de iniciar o jogo, né? Ih, caralho, está bem calor. Isto é o início. Vai ser demorado a carregar ou como é que é? Is never the end, is never the end. Is loading. Mas está a demorar um bocado, pá.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Desde que seja happy, por mim tudo bem.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Espera aí, o gajo estava a mandar o que fazer, hein? Mas eu não o sei. Sensibilidade. Que parece que está bacana. Deixa-me só. Isto aí. Isto vai dar tudo ao mesmo. Tio, coisa é que eu não quero. Ok, áudio está bem alto.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Onde é que é a meeting room? Já meti isto no alto. Já está, já fui com o jogo abaixo. Não devia ter feito nada. É pá, com o Catarino. Isso aqui deixa estar como está. Porque o jogo abaixo, meti tudo no alto. E ainda está no baixo. Olha, bem-vindo novo, obrigado. Então, mas será que este jogo não vai correr bem? Obrigado pelo uso. Oh, Dini, bom jogo. Olá, Badu. Olá. Não. Aquela sombra não está boa. Como é que é, Dini? O que é que andas a fazerem? Aquela sombra não está boa. Curti do jogo quando joguei o ano passado. Foi o Yogi que me recomendou. Ele apanhou na Epic Games. E acho que ficou bacana. É isto, acho que é o shader que me vai bugar isto tudo. Exato. Eu vou, eu vou-me deixar estar quieto, que já é a segunda vez que o jogo vai abaixo. Ok. O coisa é os shaders. Eu vou deixar estar. Deixar estar assim, acho que está bom com as filtragens, que é para não ficar com aquela cena mal desenhada, ou como é que se diz. Aqui vou deixar estar aqui baixo os efeitos. Eu acho que está bom. Eu queria era tirar, era tipo epá, esta cena. Ok, peraí. Era a cena quando um gajo se mexe. Que é o. Não é, epá, é o que é o.
This is the story of a...
É a cena, pá. Parece que. O desfoque. E acho que isso não dá para tirar. Agora, deixa eu só aqui ver uma cena. Ok, a RAM está boa. Pois é, o jogo assim está bom, não, acho que não há problema nenhum. Não está a puxar. Não, isto não puxa nada pelo PC, né? O PC não pode não ser o melhor, mas. Epá, é tipo o desfoque, mas pronto, tranquilo. O meu dinheiro não é pica. Ok, o homem agora acho que vai me mandar dizer. Epá, isto não vai correr bem.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Okay.
What could it mean?
Cheguei só ali até à frente.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Depois tu, coisa do rato é que não está. Tá bom? Pois já está demais. Oh Nuno, como é que é? Este jogo é de quê?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Isto ainda quis entrar na porta da esquerda, não? Apetece-me contrariar o homem.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ah, pronto, tudo bem.
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been
Jogo da
worth the
visionária,
detour
yeah.
after all, just to
Diz-me
spend
se
a
a voz
few
está boa com o
moments
jogo.
here in this immaculate, but eager to get back to
Eager to-
business,
okay,
Stanley took the
pronto, bem.
first open door on his left.
Tá, tranquilo. Isto
And
tem
so
um
he
microfone não?
detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite.
Ah, o jogo deixa-se de ouvir, ok.
and got back on track.
Okay, you went back on track. They flexed the micro.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
É que anda para João isto. Okay, using slides to assure employees that is everything okay. Making sure your slide is a slick blue graphic in the header. Untrue. Micro novo, pouco capa. Everyone is unique e must all fame. Ok. Shorts and slides. Não ouvi o que é que era para fazer. Para continuar, de certeza, né? Não sei disto. Não era suposto ter legendas? Conquista desbloqueada, conquista. Tudo bem.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
É lá. Executive bathroom. Estamos numa casa de banho executiva. Ninguém.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the
Acabaste-me de dizer que, opa. Acabou-me de dizer que 2845 para mim ao calhas e não sei o quê. Opa. A porta também é assim um bocado grande, não? Pronto, tudo bem. Pá, eu vou continuar isto, não é muito que se pegue, né? Não há muito que se dê volta. Aqui está escuro para um Catarina, não se vê nada. Acho que isto vai reiniciar, né? Eu não sei porquê. Eu acho que isto vai ser uma tudo, não sei. Vai reiniciar até descobrir o padrão certo. E já... Ai, vamos embora, jogo.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Olha, desfuncionou. Desfuncionou. Passou lá caminho.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Isto é boa ideia, que está aqui a dizer escape. Eu acho que não seja boa ideia.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Já não posso voltar atrás, né? Acho eu. Tu é que sabes. Eu é que sei, pá, mas eu não sei se é...
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Fazer o quê? Ah, pá, aqui. Oh.
This mind control facility,
Fired.
It was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Mas que jogo é este? Pai, vem aqui entrar. Parece a cena do GTA, aquela cena quando um gajo entrava no coisa, no complexo.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are said to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
What
all this means, I barely know
agora como dizer que isto é...
What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them.
Pois,
I
lá
erased
está.
them. I turned off the machine. I set you free.
É aqui.
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
Cala-te.
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
Ah,
These are
obrigado.
precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley?
E agora?
Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it on?
Faço ideia o que é para fazer, não faço ideia.
Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door.
Oh, isso é botão vermelho.
Anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video
Desculpa,
game can
Nuno.
be beaten?
Esqueci-me de iniciar o
One
transporte.
solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment.
Eu sei lá qual é que é a
But here's a
passcode
spoiler
dele.
for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death.
Olha, agora esperas um bocadinho. O que é para fazer? Essa, joga-te para aí, não sabes onde é que estás a meter e tal. Eu devia ter colocado no off e assim acabava tudo, né? Digo eu, não sei. Não precisa nada disto. E agora? Agora espera um bocadinho que eu estou aqui a iniciar o transporte. Sorry, Nuno. Eu faço um por ti. Espera aí, Nuno. O que eu não aguento. Aguenta. Agora? Tem que ser.
He's still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully?
Zé, se calhar.
Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke.
Já está tudo a
And believe
tremer.
me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever up.
Muito obrigado. Muito obrigado.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an aunt. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Here we go
Stepping
again.
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
Pequeno
What could
quadro.
it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through paper. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of
Zé.
activity isn't healthy. so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Ó jogo! Zé, desculpa, eu do próximo eu vou mais devagar, deixa de falar, mas por
Feeling
favor.
soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked
Vai
forward
deitar.
into the opened
Ah.
passageway.
Tem que fazer falar mais alto. Desculpa, olha, o jogo é muito bom. Já estou a ver que sim. Muito troll. Pois o gajo. Não, o gajo não. Já. O jogo vai-te deitar. Vamos embora.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Sim, tem que sim, senhor. Não te preocupes que eu tenho. Eu só preciso é de coisa. Ok, calma. Agora vou clicar no off. É para ver se e vais explodir de certeza.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
600 usuários aqui. 600 pessoas.
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never.
Never.
It was unthinkable. Wasn't it?
Claro.
Was it even possible?
Claro que
Had
não.
he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Agora que eu vou enxugar coisas
Here
estas.
was the proof. The heart of the
E a seguir eu
operation.
vou.
Controls
Não vou fazer nada
labeled
com
with
isso.
emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Acabou? Foi só isto? Se um gajo seguir o jogo todo.
And a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Não. Não foi.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
É isso mesmo.
And yet, even as the
Já tem
immense
diversos
door
finais
slowly
e tal.
opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his
Eu tive tipo
co-workers
2
gone?
horas a jogar
How
isso.
had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
Ok, eu vou
What
ficar.
other
Que é para...
mysteries did this strange building hold?
E mesmo assim não fui a
But
todos
as
os finais,
sunlight
incrível.
streamed into the chamber, he realized
Como é que
none
eu
of this
faço?
mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking,
Já agora quer
but
saber.
happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but
Só
to
não sei
live.
se tem um mais verdadeiro que é, não?
No longer
Os outros
would anyone
finais.
tell him where to go,
Isto é
what
bué
to
alto.
do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives,
Vou baixar aqui.
it will be his.
Assim está melhor.
And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. and Stanley was happy.
Uau. Comovente, pá. O gajo estava livre. Zerei o jogo. Já zerei o jogo. Incrível. Bom, temos a ter o cuidado como terminada, maltinha. Espero que vocês tenham... O quê?